Hello guys, in today's class we shall discuss module 3, that is performance of three-phase induction motor. At the first we have losses in induction motor. So we know that there are basically two types of losses, one is constant losses and the other one is variable losses, and constant losses are also called as iron losses and variable losses are also called as copper losses. So first we shall see the constant losses. Okay, so constant losses do occur in both stator as well as rotor. Okay, in stator core as well as the rotor core and the rotor core. And again, constant losses are further divided into hysteresis loss as well as eddy current loss. So how to reduce them? Hysteresis loss as well as eddy current loss. So firstly we shall see hysteresis losses. We can reduce hysteresis losses by using thin silicon made material, silicon steel material, whereas for rotor as well as stator. So by using what happens, we can reduce the hysteresis losses. And how to reduce eddy current losses? Eddy current losses can be reduced by using making thin laminations. Okay, by using thin laminations in the stator. Okay, so by this ways what happens? We can reduce hysteresis losses as well as eddy current losses. Totally constant losses can be reduced. Okay. And again one more loss is there, mechanical losses, that includes in constant losses itself, it includes friction losses at the bearings as well as windings. Okay, usually the drop is very small and usually it is neglected sometimes for small machines. Second one is variable losses. This includes copper losses in both stator as well as rotor, and this occurs due to the flow of the load current in the stator as well as rotor. Okay, so basically this is given by the formula I square into R. So here we are specifically concentrating on the rotor copper loss. So I2 is the current which flows in the rotor, and I2R, what does it mean? I2R is the rotor current per phase at a particular load. Okay, means the load current in the rotor part, and R2 is the rotor resistance. Okay, per phase. Similarly, stator copper losses also can be written per phase. Okay, as it is shown here in terms of rotor copper loss, and for it's a collective copper loss because we are multiplying 3, right? So per phase then it will be I2R square into R2, but we are collectively considering that is all 3 phases, so 3 is multiplied here. Okay, so next topic is power flow in an induction motor. So what exactly power flow is? So we know that induction motor takes input as electrical power and gives mechanical power. Okay, so the conversion from electrical power to mechanical power is nothing but what? Power flow. So what all the aspects are there during conversion of electrical power into mechanical power, we shall see. So at the first we can see that we know that power is inputted to the stator part. So and it is a electrical one, so P in is equal to root 3 VL IL cos phi. This is the power input to the electrical power input to the stator. So that's why it is called as net input electrical power to the stator. Okay, this is nothing but the stator input. And write in terms of P in is equal to 3 V phase I phase cos phi in terms of per phase value. In terms of line, you can write this as the formula. So now, so whatever electrical power we are giving input to the stator is utilized to supply the losses in the stator. Okay, so in the stator, what are the losses? The losses in the stator are, yes, iron losses as well as the copper losses. So some amount of the power is utilized to supply those losses. Okay, so after supplying the losses, the remaining power input is given to the rotor. Okay, so first of all we give power to the stator, and again out of that power some of the power is utilized to supply the losses in the stator, that is to supply the copper losses as well as the iron losses in the stator, and the remaining whatever power remains is supplied to the rotor. So that's why you can see that P2 is the power input to the rotor. P2 is the power input to the rotor. It is not like we are separately giving power to the rotor, means whatever the stator input is, the same power is utilized to give supply to the rotor. So if P2 is the power input to the rotor, means we know that P input minus stator losses. In stator losses, what occurs there? Core loss as well as the copper loss. You can write it as iron loss also. So after subtracting copper loss as well as the iron loss from power input, so the whatever the power remains, that power is given to the rotor. So that power is called as P2. So P2 is equal to P input minus stator losses, includes core as well as copper. Okay. So now when rotor is given with the input P2, we know that rotor can't convert whole P2 into the mechanical output. Okay. Obviously in rotor also there are stator in rotor also there are what core loss as well as copper losses. So whatever input we give to the rotor, some amount of power again it is utilized to supply what iron loss as well as the copper loss. Okay. So you can see that in the rotor we are calling PC as the rotor copper loss, and it is given by what 3 into I2 R square into R2. So 3 is why multiplying for all the 3 phases. We are considering all the copper losses occurring in all the 3 phases. Okay. And you might be wondering, where is iron loss here? Why only copper loss is considered? As rotor iron loss are very small, so usually it is neglected. Okay. That's why the reason why we are not accounting iron loss in the rotor part, but we are accounting iron loss as well as copper loss in the stator, but we are accounting only copper loss in the rotor part. And again, you know, I2R is the rotor current in the running condition, R2 is the rotor resistance per phase. So PC is the power utilized in supplying the copper losses. Okay. And input to the rotor was P2. So if I subtract P2 minus PC, then that amount of power whatever I get after subtracting P2 and PC will be what generated as mechanical power. Means the whatever power is there remains, that power is converted in terms of mechanical power, and that power is called as what gross mechanical power. You can see PM is equal to P2 minus PC, where P2 is the total input to the rotor and PC is the total copper loss in the rotor. So if I subtract one from the another, then whatever power remains here, that power is converted in terms of what gross mechanical power developed in the motor. Okay, it is called as PM. And again we know that the gross mechanical power, as the name itself indicates, gross. So again some amount of mechanical power from the gross mechanical power is utilized in supplying what losses. Where are the losses again? Yes, the losses occur in shaft, like in the bearings. Okay, in bearings, whereas to what supply the friction losses also, friction as well as windage losses. So some amount of power, whatever gross mechanical power is here, is utilized to what supply the friction as well as the windage losses. Okay, so finally what happens, again I need to subtract those mechanical losses. So mechanical losses are generally what friction as well as windage losses. I need to supply, I need to subtract that mechanical losses from the gross mechanical power. So PM minus mechanical losses will give you what P output. So this is the net output, you can call this is the net output, net mechanical output out of the shaft. Okay, out of the motor. So whatever we discussed, it is shown in diagrammatically called as power flow diagram of an induction motor. Let us see how it looks. Okay, you can see that power input, like I said, net electrical input, whatever input is given to the where stator. Okay, remember input is given to stator and not to the rotor directly. Directly input where is given to where stator. You can see there are 3 phases. Okay, input is given, and I said some amount of the power input is utilized to supply the stator losses. Stator losses includes what copper losses as well as the iron losses. So P input minus this gives you input to the rotor, that is stator output. Stator output is equal to input to the rotor, it is called as P2. So P2 is equal to P input minus stator losses. Okay, and now whatever input is given to the rotor, again it is utilized some amount of the power. Okay, some amount of the power is utilized to what, to supply the rotor copper loss, PC. Okay, and we are not considering iron loss because iron loss are usually very less when compared to that of stator losses. So it is neglected here or ignored here. So only rotor copper losses are what considered. Okay, and again it is denoted by PC. So P2 minus PC will give me what? PM. So the PM is what? Gross mechanical power developed. So PM is equal to P2 minus PC. So whatever input is given to the rotor is utilized in supplying, some of the power is utilized supplying the rotor copper loss after whatever power remains, it is called as gross mechanical power developed. So PM is equal to P2 minus PC. Again, we know that not whole gross mechanical power is utilized to supply the load. So some amount of the mechanical power is utilized in supplying the mechanical losses, and mechanical losses are what? Mechanical losses are what? Bearing as well as windage losses. You can call it as friction losses also. So PM minus mechanical losses will give you what? Load. Means you can call shaft mechanical power or net mechanical power developed at the load. Okay. So net, this is how the power flow diagram is. Okay. And here you can see rotor efficiency is given by rotor output by rotor input. And again rotor output is what? Gross mechanical power developed. So yes or not? That is what the total. It's not like you can tell net mechanical power developed. So total output I want. So total output is gross mechanical power developed. Again rotor input is P2. So it is PM by P2. Okay, remember. Now net motor efficiency. Net motor efficiency is what? Net output at shaft. So P out. So P out is the net useful power or shaft power. It is given. One more, two more names are given, or shaft power you can call. Okay. So it is net output of shaft P output is equal to net electrical input to the motor P in here. This P in. So it is P out by P in will give you what? Net motor efficiency. Okay. Okay. Next. Now let us find the relation between P2, PC, PM. P2 is what? Rotor input. PC is what? Copper loss occurring in the rotor, and PM is the gross mechanical power developed in the rotor. So whatever relation we are going to find, it is with respect to the rotor part. So after knowing all these names, let us start with this by calling certain terminologies. We know that T is what? Gross torque developed by the motor. That is, it is in terms of Newton meter. So we know that this is the formula. P is equal to T omega. So this is the mechanical power, this is the gross torque, and this omega is what? Angular speed of the rotor. Okay, shaft. So where is P is power? Mechanical power developed, and angular 2 pi n by 60, where n is speed in RPM. Okay. Now again we know that P2 is from the stator side. Means stator output is nothing but rotor input, right? So I am going to define again one more formula for that, again similar to that, just a generic formula, general formula you can call. With respect to this formula, we are going to write the formula with respect to P2. So P2 is equal to T into omega S. So P2 is what? Is the power developed or power stator output you can call. Okay, P2 is stator output is equal to rotor input. Stator output is equal to T into omega S. And omega S is what? 2 pi ns by 60. Where ns is what? Synchronous speed in the RPM. Okay, this is 2 pi ns by 60. You just substitute here, you will be getting this. So now what happens? Whatever input is there will be utilized to stator output. Whatever we are giving to as the rotor input, it is utilized in developing what? Mechanical power. So again, gross mechanical power developed. Yes or not? PM is equal to T into omega. And again omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60. You can see I am not writing ns here. Why? Because we know that always your rotor runs at the subsynchronous speed. Yes or not? And whatever stator is giving, it is what? Synchronous speed. Okay, whatever it is with respect to stator. Yes or not? Actually it is with respect to rotor itself, but output of stator is given as input to the rotor. So it is 2 pi ns by 60. But here we know that our rotor never runs at the synchronous speed, so it is 2 pi n by 60. So PM is equal to T into omega. Again same thing, T into 2 pi n by 60. Now what I want to do is I am going to find the copper losses. How to find copper losses in the rotor? PC is equal to P2 minus PM. Yes or no? This is after subtracting one from the other, I will be getting what? Copper losses. So substitute P2 as it is given here and minus PM. So after doing T 2 pi by 60, take it as common. So what remains in the bracket is ns minus n. So now what I am going to do is I am going to divide PC by P2. P2 anyhow you know. P2 is over here. So PC already I have got here. So what is PC? It is called as rotor copper loss. So PC I am going to substitute, P2 I am going to substitute. After doing so, what I am going to get? Ns minus n by ns. Just after doing cancelling on T 2 pi by 60, this gets cancelled. Ns minus n by ns. So we know that ns minus n by ns is slip, which already discussed. So PC by P2 equal to yes. So what I can write it here is rotor copper loss PC is equal to slip times that of rotor input P2. Yes or not? Slip times of rotor input PC is equal to S times of P2. Okay. So total rotor copper loss is slip times that of rotor input.